Welcome, all my fellow Washington brethren and sisters. I am your man and resident Washington football team fan, Luke. Thank you for joining me here on the Washington Football Report, a special Washington Football Report, as we're continuing our positional rankings series here on the LouieTeeNetwork. We've already gone through the running back position. Now we're going to reverse course and go back and probably do the first position we should have done, which is quarterback. And I'm so fascinated by Washington's ranking overall, my ranking for Washington overall, I should say, in the upcoming season at the quarterback position in the league and in the division. Now, let me give you a couple of background notes as to how I kind of view the quarterback position in the prism at which I look at it through. So, with the quarterback position, specifically, if you have a frontline starter that is much better than our guy, then the sum of the whole parts is insignificant. Okay, who your backup and your third quarterback doesn't really matter if your first guy is way better than our first guy. Okay, so essentially, the only time the rest of the room comes into play, i.e. for us, Taylor Heineke or Kyle Allen, because if you take the depth of our room, we're better than a lot of teams, most teams in the league, really. I don't know if you'll find a better 1 through 3 in the league than what we're sporting. However, if you just take, for example, you look at the Dallas Cowboys in our division, okay? Dak Prescott, head and shoulders above any of our quarterbacks, but specifically way better than our perceived and projected starter, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, the rest of that Cowboys quarterback room, as you'll see here in a second, ass, okay? There is nothing there to see. However, if Dak Prescott is healthy, they've got the best quarterback in the division. Therefore, they have the best quarterback room because it's not really close. Okay, and we could go around the league and do that with several other teams like the Baltimore Ravens, for example. Lamar Jackson, awesome quarterback, league MVP, okay, just a couple of years ago. You take him over anybody in our locker room. However, after Lamar Jackson, there's not many guys you would really want to see on your roster particularly, and our guys are better than the rest of their quarterbacks. However, Lamar Jackson, there is such a huge gap between Lamar Jackson and Ryan Fitzpatrick that it really doesn't matter what the rest of the guys in our quarterback room do or how they are able to potentially outperform the other guys in that Ravens quarterback room. The gap is so significant that they get the nod. So that's kind of how I view the quarterback position. Now, if it's close between your starter and our starter, so if your number one and our number one are close, then the tiebreaker becomes the depth of the room. Then Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen come into play, and if they're better than your backups, we get the nod. So that's kind of how I view this. With that said, let's jump into this breakdown, and we're going to start, as we always do, in the division. Where does Washington rank at the quarterback position within the NFC East? Let's take a look at their standing, and we start with the team that is probably the team with the least resistance in this division, okay? The team that strikes the least amount of fear in anybody's heart at the quarterback position. The team that's the most harmless at the quarterback position. Let's just term it and phrase it that way. The Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody's expecting. Now, Jalen Hurts is the wild card probably in the entire division because he's the one unknown commodity of all of the quarterbacks in this division that are perceived to be the starters in week one for their teams in the upcoming season. I'm not a big Jalen Hurts fan. Don't think he is going to really move the needle much in Philadelphia. I think they'll be looking for a new starting quarterback at some point here in the near future. But that said, Joe Flacco, he's come and gone. His best years are way behind him. Nick Mullins stinks. And so there is nothing here. They're the worst quarterback group in the NFC East right now. And honestly, I don't think it's all that close. So you go from the Eagles to the Giants. I look at this Giants quarterback room and I say Daniel Jones is a guy that, let me just say this, and I know a lot of you Washington fans are going to probably kill me for this, and that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything, and we don't agree on a lot of things. Daniel Jones is better than any quarterback we have on our team right now. Now, again, Taylor Heinicke would be our X factor. We don't know what Taylor Heinicke could be in this league. He could be, a difference maker and way better than Daniel Jones, but we don't have a large enough sample size to be able to say that. That said, Daniel Jones is better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. It took Fitzpatrick about 10 or 11 years to have his best year of his career, and Daniel Jones did that in his rookie season. Their numbers are very comparable from, Ryan Fitzpatrick's 11th year in the league with the Jets in 2015 to Daniel Jones's rookie season. So you want to talk about, well, he's Danny fumbles and he's this and he's that. Well, what the hell do you think Ryan Fitzpatrick does? He turns the damn football over too. So Daniel Jones, for me, is better than any quarterback that we have on the roster. I think his upside is really a lot better than you guys give him credit for. That said, it's close. He's not definitively better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. And personally, I would probably take Fitzpatrick with the team that we have now. I think I'd take Ryan Fitzpatrick and give it a go with him over Daniel Jones. That said, the rest of our room, because it's close, the rest of our room dwarfs the Giants' room. Clayton Thorson out of Northwestern, Mike Glennon, a longtime veteran in this league that really is what he is at this point of his career. None of those guys move the needle at all, whereas our guys, there's still a little bit of intrigue surrounding them. Maybe you feel like you know what Kyle Allen is as a quarterback, but you have no idea what Taylor Heinicke is. And in the small sample size that we got from Heinicke, he balled out. So there's a better perception of our room being stronger. I feel that way. I think the Giants are the third best quarterback room in the division, which takes us to the team that I believe is the best quarterback room in the division. And really, it's not the room. More so, it's Dak Prescott. And again, the reason the Cowboys, you look at what they have: Cooper Rush, Garrett Gilbert, Ben DiNucci. I mean, these guys stink, okay? So it's not like those guys are the reason that the Cowboys quarterback room is better. It's all about number 4. And I know I'm going to get the same thing I got about saying, well, he's coming off of injury and blah, blah, blah. He's going to be just fine, okay? All right, he's going to be just fine. If it were his shoulder or his back or his neck, I'd be concerned. It's his ankle. He'll be just fine, okay? And I expect him to come back blazing the football all around the football field like he was prior to his injury. It's Dak Prescott, number 1. Take about 3 or 4 steps, and then you get to the next NFC East quarterback in terms of starting quarterbacks in this division. So just because of that in itself, the Cowboys have the number 1 quarterback room. I think Washington has the number 2 quarterback room in the division. But again, you look at his backups. If anything were to happen to Dak Prescott, much like last year, unlike last year where they at least had Andy Dalton, they're screwed this year if anything happens to Dak Prescott. Unlike us, who if our starter goes down or if he isn't playing well, we go to the next guy, we still got a chance. But that's not how I look at this. I expect and I assume when I make these lists, I assume health. So I'm assuming Dak Prescott's going to be healthy, and he's the best quarterback in this division. So that's how the division breakdown looks. If you're talking about the NFC East, Dallas 1, Washington 2, Giants 3, Eagles bring up the rear at number 4. So when we talk about in the entire league, this is where things get really interesting for me, because I don't think I just told you anything that you didn't already know, or at least you didn't expect me to say, because I've said it already a bunch of times. Here's where things get interesting when we start talking about the quarterback position. You got to think about where this team is. Okay, I've talked about this team being ready to win a Super Bowl in terms from a roster standpoint. Now, we don't know if these guys are going to gel, and I'm just talking about on paper. When you look at the Washington football team and what they have to offer in the upcoming 2021 season, I feel like we're a quarterback away from being a serious contender for a Super Bowl. Now, again, that's on paper. We haven't proven anything yet, but when you look at the talent that they've assembled over the last couple of years, you add a big-time quarterback in the mix, and this team could have a legitimate chance. That said, Ryan Fitzpatrick gives you a fighting chance because he's a veteran. He knows this league. He knows NFL defenses, and he's not going to be wowed by any moment. No moment is going to be too big for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Okay, there will be some turnovers. There will be some big plays. There'll be a bunch of things in between. But he knows NFL defenses and he knows NFL offense, and nothing's going to spook him. So you have a shot with Ryan Fitzpatrick. In my mind, I'm not thinking long term. I'm not thinking about, man, the Jaguars drafted Trevor Lawrence. I'd much rather have him than Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's not how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the quarterback room, specifically your starter versus our starter. And then again, if it's close, we look at the totality of the rooms. If you've got a rookie quarterback that you just drafted, sure, for the long term, I'd much rather have your guy than our guy. However, if you're telling me, can I have Trevor Lawrence or Ryan Fitzpatrick for the upcoming season? Justin Fields or Ryan Fitzpatrick for the upcoming season? Mac Jones or, again, I'm taking Ryan Fitzpatrick because he's a veteran. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback, most likely. Again, unless a guy comes in here and takes the league by storm, more likely than not, you're not winning a Super Bowl with a rookie in year one. Sorry. Not sorry. Okay? So, I said all of that to say this. You're going to understand my logic when I go through the list. So, I have Washington as the 19th quarterback team or room in the league. And it's funny because we had a discussion on one of my shows about a month ago where, there are a couple of fans, one in particular, that swore that Ryan Fitzpatrick was top 10. And I was like, are you crazy? I've got us at 19. We could easily be lower down the list. We could easily be higher depending on what your way of grading this out is, and how your perspective is. But let's go through this quickly. Arizona Cardinals, they're better than us, okay? They got Kyler Murray. It's not close. Atlanta Falcons, they got Matt Ryan. It's not close. I'll take either one of those teams or quarterbacks. You put them on our team, we're Super Bowl contenders. Ravens, same thing. Lamar Jackson, difference maker, former MVP. They're better than us. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen is remarkable. He showed that last year. He's well on his way to winning an MVP if he continues to play the way that he played last year. Bills are better than us. Panthers, we're better than the Panthers. They don't know about Sam Darnold. Just like we don't know about Taylor Heineke, they're trying to find out. Their quarterback situation is not great. And when you start comparing Sam Darnold and Ryan Fitzpatrick, you say, okay, they're close. The rest of our room is better than their room. I'll take our guys over theirs. Bears, same thing. Andy Dalton and Ryan Fitzpatrick, they were both in free agency this year. They both signed 1 year, $10 million deals, essentially. They're really one and the same. But when you look at the totality of our room versus theirs, they got a rookie backing up their starting quarterback, and who knows how long it'll be before he gets in the lineup, whatever the case may be. I'd take our guys, all three of them, over their two guys that potentially could start for them at some point this year. They got Nicholas Foles on that roster as well. I'm good. I'll pass. Give me our guys over their guys for the upcoming season. Again, Justin Fields may turn out to be a stud, and I may want him long term, but I don't see you winning a Super Bowl with Justin Fields this upcoming season. I think you got a better shot of doing that with Ryan Fitzpatrick, if we're being honest. I'll take our guys over the Bears. Bengals, give me Joe Burrow. You know how I feel about Burrow. I know he's coming off of an injury, and oh my God, Burrow's coming off an injury. I don't care. Give me Joe Burrow. I think you could win a Super Bowl with him this upcoming season. He showed a lot last year as a rookie. Browns, I struggled with this one. I'll take Baker Mayfield, though. I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield fan, but he did show me some things last season. And so that's 2 out of 3 good years for Mayfield. The one in the middle with Freddie Kitchens was a problem for me. But the first season as a rookie and last year were good enough. I'll take the Browns quarterback group over ours. Cowboys, we've already done that. They're better than us. Broncos, I'm a Drew Lock guy. However, I don't think Drew Lock is ready to win a Super Bowl. And I'll take it a step further. They may have more offensive talent than we do. Okay? They're one of the teams that I look at and I say, they got all of the shit. Offensively, they got the tight ends. They got the receivers. They got some really quality backs. They got everything you could ask for. Maybe the offensive line isn't necessarily where you want it to be. I think they're working on that as we speak. The bottom line is, he's in a position to win in Denver right now. Their defense is just as good as ours, maybe even better depending on who you ask. Bottom line is, I don't think he's ready to win. I don't want Teddy Bridgewater anywhere near my starting quarterback position. Give me our guys over theirs. Lions, same thing. Jared Goff had a remarkable year in 2018. He's solid, but if Sean McVay can't wait to get rid of you and will give up an additional first-round pick just to push you out the door, I think it might have been more about getting Matthew Stafford, but at the end of the day, I'm good on Jared Goff. Give me our guys over the Lions guys. Packers, it's Aaron Rodgers. Do I need to say any more? Texans, look, I'm assuming that Deshaun Watson isn't playing ball this year. I think that's a pretty safe assumption to make at this point. So with that said, Tyrod Taylor is their guy. And I know there are a lot of you out there, I'll take Tyrod Taylor. Well, you go ahead and take Tyrod Taylor. I'm going to pass. It's a hard pass for me. I don't want any of those guys on their roster. Give me our guys instead. Indianapolis Colts, Carson Wentz is their starting quarterback. And because of that, I'll take the Indianapolis Colts. I know some of you say, Carson Wentz stinks. Okay, well, go look at Carson Wentz's years before last year. And you come back and tell me that Carson Wentz stinks. He's going back to the guy that made him who he was in this league, and Frank Reich. I think Carson Wentz is going to have a massive bounce-back season. Give me Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts quarterback situation. Jacksonville Jaguars. Like I said, they got Trevor Lawrence. That's cool. You're not winning the Super Bowl with Trevor Lawrence in year number one. And I like Trevor Lawrence. Unlike some of you, I don't love Trevor Lawrence. But I think he's going to have a really good NFL career. We'll see what happens. Give me our guys, though, instead of the Jacksonville Jaguars group. Chiefs, don't need to say anything there. Chargers, I don't really need to speak on that one either. And we'll see him in week number one. But he's a stud, and he proved it last year. We'll see if there's a sophomore slump coming for him or not. But if all indications and signs point to what we saw last year being the norm for him, then you already know what it is with Justin Herbert. I'll take the Chargers. Rams, they got Matthew Stafford. We wanted Matthew Stafford. We tried. We swung. We missed. He's better than anything we have on our team, and it's not close. Raiders, hell, we were thirsty after not only their starting quarterback in Derek Carr, we were thirsty for their backup Marcus Mariota, which tells you that they're better than us as well. Dolphins, Tua, the jury's still out. I still think that the kid's super talented, and he's going to prove a lot of people wrong this year, but I don't think you're winning anything of note with him in year two. So give me Ryan Fitzpatrick. Remember, we got the guy that almost saved their season. Give me our guys over their guys. Patriots, I'm good. I don't want Mac Jones. I don't want Cam Newton. I don't want any of those guys on their roster. Jarrett Stidham, none of them. Give me my guys instead. Saints, you know what? Jameis Winston is really interesting. This is one of the ones I struggled with. I said, okay, essentially, here's how it goes. Jameis Winston is a stud that could throw for 5,000 yards. He's done it before. But we've also seen in that same season, he could throw for 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, 30-30 club. I said Ryan Fitzpatrick is a guy that could probably throw for, over 4,000 yards. And he could throw for 30 touchdowns, but he could also throw for 20-something interceptions. So they're almost the same guy, just that Jameis Winston's ceiling is a lot higher. Okay? So then I said, okay, so they're pretty comparable. One's black, one's white, essentially is the difference. And I think Winston's a little bit more, gifted. But that said, they're kind of one and the same. I said, all right, what about the rest of the Saints room? And I looked at Taysom Hill and I looked at some of the other guys and I'm like, and Ian Book, and I'm like, give me my guys instead. So we get the nod over the Saints. That's how I feel about that. Giants, already talked about that. We get the nod over them. Jets, I love Zach Wilson. He was my guy in this year's draft in terms of the quarterback position. Thought he was the most talented quarterback in this year's draft class. And that's the guy I think is ultimately going to be the best of this group. But with that said, he's still a rookie. There's a lot of growing pains that come with being a rookie in this league. I don't think we would be set up to win with him in year one. So I'd take our guys over what the Jets have currently. Now, again, much like with the Bears and potentially, the Patriots and even, the 49ers and all these teams that took rookie first-round quarterbacks, I think that in the Jaguars, I think we could be having a different conversation come next year. Last year, if we were having this conversation, I would have taken our guys over, especially with Dwayne going into year two, I would have taken our guys over the Chargers. I don't feel that way now. With Justin Herbert being a rookie and Tyrod Taylor being their starter, I would have taken our quarterbacks over their guys last year. That's not the case now. Okay, 1 year makes a huge difference. So we'll see what happens with the Jets, but I'll take our guys over their guys. Talked about the Eagles already. I'll take our guys over theirs. Steelers. They've still got Roethlisberger. He's hanging on. They got Haskins and they got Mason Rudolph. Their room isn't all that great after Roethlisberger, but you put Roethlisberger on our roster, and we're talking about potentially winning a Super Bowl. So I take the Steelers group over ours. 49ers, give me our guys instead. I think we got a better room than they do. Seahawks, you know what it is there. Buccaneers, you know what it is there. And the Titans, really, you know what it is. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Ryan Tannehill, I'll take the Titans version of Ryan over our version of Ryan. And honestly, that's what it boils down to, because if you look at the totality of their room, I think ours is better. However, Fitzpatrick and Tannehill took his team to an AFC championship game and has been in the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. Ryan Fitzpatrick has never played in a single playoff game in his 16-year NFL career. So I think that speaks for itself. So that's how I got to us being the 19th quarterback room in the league. I'd love to hear from you guys. I know you're going to tear this to shreds, and I can't wait to read all of it. So leave it down in the comment section. What's your list look like? Where do you think we rank in the NFC East? Where do you think we rank overall in the league? Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? And what teams would you put us over? What teams would you put us under? I'd love to hear from all of you out there. I am a Washington fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Washington spirit will never die. Washington spirit will never fold. Until we meet again, hail to the beloved Washington football team. Looking forward to continuing down this path as we go through each and every single position in the NFL, on this football team, through the league and in the division. We are the 19th quarterback room in the league, according to me, your man, Louie T. What says you? Leave it down in the comment section along with the like. Touch that like button for me, okay? And if you haven't already done so, caress the subscribe button and also molest the notification bell, okay? Give your man some love. You don't want to miss this content because it's coming at you hot and heavy. We are right around the corner from training camp. So if you haven't subbed up, you're going to be missing out. With that said, I am your man, Louie T, signing off. Remember, get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, you guys have a good one.
LouieTeeNetwork.